Hello everyone, I'm the Canadian Gaming Penguin. As you can see, the preliminary patch notes for patch 5.4 are out. Woohoo! I was actually surprised to see these released this morning. I figured I would go over some of the details of this, but not all of it, as there is a lot. I will be pointing out some things that I forgot were coming, and some corrections I need to make of something I had said in the Letter from the Producer Live Part 61 video. I will point out what that is later on. But before I get into that, keep in mind that these are the preliminary patch notes, so there are things that are subject to change. Anywho, so here we have at the top with our patch 5.4 image. I'm not going to explain it at all, or who they are if they are anyone. Ahem. As you can see, we also have the title, and I'm not going to explain that either, because technically I don't fully understand it either. Usually it references something in the patch itself. Normally the main scenario quest. But anyways, right off the bat near the top we have an asterisk informing us that the future updates, Ishgardian Restoration updates, are scheduled to be released in patch 5.41. Blue Mage, Save the Queen, Blades of Gunhilder, Resistance Weapons, and Skysteel Tools updates are scheduled to be released in patch 5.45. So that's probably a month or so away, probably about a month or so away from now. Then we have a link to the trailer. I'm not going to dive into that. So next we see that we have new main scenario quests, and I'm going to be scrolling right past this because there's images and I don't want to be spoilery. And then we have quests for the Chronicles of New Era quests, the Sorrow of Worlds. And then we have the Eden quests as well. And we have the Yorha, that's the Naur crossover. I probably butchered that name. Anyways, there's that. We have new role quests as well, and this is the part where I need to make a correction on. So we have new role quests added. I mistakenly thought that the next quest after was in relation to our individual classes and jobs, but it's not. There is a role quest after that, which is what is required here. Shadow Walk with me. And thus we need to have that quest completed, which I actually forgot about. And then there's the main scenario quest for patch 5.3 that we need to have completed. Then we'll have access to this quest, which then will have access to these quests. And in addition to these quests, you need to have the Heavensward Warring Triad storyline completed, and it just specifies the quest names itself, so you can check to see if you've done that in your journal. And if you don't see those, then you probably haven't done it. Again, that can be picked up in Mordona after you have completed the Heavensward main scenario quest. Anyways, so we also have new chapters that have been added to the new game plus. The final quest of each chapter must be completed before it can be unlocked. Obviously, as per usual in the main scenario quest, Shadowbringers Part 3. We also have the side story quests, so role quests and void quests. The void quests are these new quests right there. And you can see specifically tank quests. We have the tank role quests, and each of the quests for each of the gunbreakers, each of the tanks. And then DPS, the DPS role quests, the magical DPS role quests, and then we have the quests for each of the different DPS, including Blue Mage. We also have the healer quests, the healer role quests, and again for all the different healers. And mentioning the new game plus, if you have completed the Warring Triad storyline and you don't remember it at all, you can replay that as it is part of the new game plus. So there you go. Then we have the treasure hunt, and we can see that there's the shifting oubliettes of Leah Gaia, as I butcher the name. We have another image here. This image is also up on the special site. There has been some additional pictures that have been shown there. I will not be showing them. Then we can also see here that the Zunurskin treasure map, yes, I kind of butchered that name, but anyway, this is where the treasure map that will allow you to possibly get the shifting oubliettes of the Gaia. Should a portal appear when opening a treasure coffer found using a Zunurskin treasure map, it will lead either the dungeons of Liagia or the shifting oubliettes of Liagia, as I butcher the names. That's okay, moving on. The destination will be chosen at random. And then explains how this actually works. I'm not going to go over that, and as likely as people might have assumed, at least for this one, the Zunurskin treasure map rewards have been adjusted, along with the Gilderskin treasure maps. And then we also have rewards in Dungeons of Liagia has been adjusted as well. we have new craftable items added to the company workshop. So we have some subaquatic voyages as well. And then this is an important one to know as I highlight this. Housing, the timer for auto demolition will resume with the release of patch 5.4. So if you own a house, you will have to start visiting it. Otherwise, your house will be demolished. Don't worry, your items will be stored, but you will lose your plot of land. And it will be put back up onto the market, so to speak. The furnishings from the Final Fantasy XIV Furnishing Design Contest have been added. So that is some of these things that I talked about before with the flower arrangements in the baskets and kind of displayed. I also see we have a banner here of some sort, or a drape. We also have the dough and the rolling pin, the flour and the milk carton. I'm not sure if these other things are also. This wall even could have been something. These windows too. And this one I didn't see before, and I really like how this looks. I can definitely see this in a flowery kind of greenhousey type thing. It's really pretty at any rate. We also have new furnishings here listed. We have this lion thingy. We also have some display cases, and this is not actually an ivy, so to speak. It is on a trellis. Well, it's technically kind of an ivy type thing, but it's not quite an ivy per se. And this looks like it has the different, I almost want to call that the Millennium Puzzle. Yep. Anyway, display cases here. And I'm assuming these are also new, these brick walkway path thingies. Sort of like how we have the tatami ones as well. We also have this plant and this. We have new orchestrion rules being added, which is no surprise. The descriptions of certain orchestrion rules have been adjusted to prevent spoilers. Then we have the new aquarium fish have been added, and this shows a picture of a spectral fish. So if you've done ocean fishing, you may or may not have caught spectral fish. Well, by the looks of this image, and I'm of course assuming we'll know for sure on the 7th when we see the official patch notes, and or on the 8th, or whenever they subsequently update the patch notes itself, which may take a few days or so after the patch. And by the way, you have navigation on the side if you want to skip to things directly. Anyway, so the spectral fish. I've actually been hanging on to mine, thinking that you could already put them in aquariums. I don't have an aquarium set up, as I blabber more. Right, so we also have new seeds for the flower pots have been added. I actually didn't even know there were flower pots. There's so much about housing I don't know. Anyway, so we have carnation seeds, and the carnation seeds can be purchased from those vendors there. Anyways, so moving on to the Manderville Gold Saucer, we have the following additions that have been made to Triple Triad. So we have no longer the restriction of the 1 to 3 star cards in our decks. Everybody can have the same amount, however, we still can only have 1 4-star card or higher in our decks. This also allows everybody to start on the same playing field immediately, rather than having to collect 30 and then 60 cards before they can actually do this. I'm really welcome to this change. Hello, Mr. Yuki. Apparently my cat decided to read the notes with me. Sort of. Not really. Anyway. This is something I didn't know, and this is also important. Time restrictions for Triple Triad have been changed from 30 seconds per turn to 90 seconds for the entirety of a match. As it says, at the start of a match, each player is allotted a total of 90 seconds to deliberate their actions, with an additional 5 seconds added to their timers at the beginning of each turn. Note, however, that no portion of this 5-second grace period can be carried over to another turn. Should the 90-second timer run down completely, you will only have the aforementioned 5-second window to make each remaining move. Failure to do so resulting in a card being chosen and placed for you, which is consistent to how it worked before. After that 30 seconds per turn, it would automatically play a card for you and place it wherever it decided to place it. Anyways, it also explains the advanced rule draft that has been added, and it specifies again that participants will not have access to their individual decks and must instead play using cards provided by the Gold Saucer, and this is how you build your deck in the draft function. Or, as it says, the recommended button may be pressed instead to automatically choose the strongest cards available. So if you're feeling lazy and you just want to play quickly, well, there you go. There is also new tournaments that have been added. Hello, Miss Callie, or was that Yuki again? Whichever cat it is. The Gold Saucer now plays host to 2 new tournament formats, open tournaments and invitational tournaments, allowing up to 8 players and requiring no MGP for admission. These tournaments consist of 3 matches, making for a quick and easy way to enjoy Triple Triad with cards or bitter rivals. The requirements are, after having completed the quest Triple Triad Trial, speak with the open tournament official in the Gold Saucer to unlock these new tournament modes. Sizing up your opponent. During a tournament, players can now confirm their opponent's number of wins and losses. Moreover, players on the PlayStation 4 can view their opponent's PSN ID, and I assume that's this icon right here. Then it describes the open tournaments, how these work, and the invitational tournaments and how those work. Then it shows us how the Triple Triad card list has been revamped. I'm actually really excited for this because I might actually take my time to try to collect these cards. Anyway, so the layout of the edit deck window has also been adjusted, and an option to set filters and customize sorting has been added. Using these new options, players can sort cards by rarity, type, or the 4 values in each of their corners. So you can see here the sort customization: top side first priority, third priority, default, second priority, etc., ascending, descending, so on and so forth. And the tables will no longer appear between players during Triple Triad matches in public areas. This is rather unfortunate. I'm not entirely sure why they made that change. I'm assuming there was something in the back end that was affecting something. And following this adjustment, players' minions can now be seen even during the Triple Triad matches, so you would now have distractions for you. Yeah, so including in this, we also have new cards that have been added and new opponents, NPC opponents specifically for Triple Triad that have been added, which is pretty consistent with every patch. We also have the Dome and Mahjong, and I'm not going to go over this, but we do have quick matches that have been added under the miscellaneous category here. The following addition adjustments have been made to the trust system. When opening the trust window, the newest available dungeon would be selected by default, and then closing and reopening the trust window without logging out of the game will display the last dungeon you selected. Then there's a couple of other things. Prizes available in exchange for Chloe's gold certificate, etc. have been adjusted. The following additions and adjustments have been made to Faux Hallows. So this is in response to the Alpha Amphitheater being removed, as in the Unreal trial, and replaced with the Naval Unreal. Different Unreal trials will be available in each major patch. So 5.5 patch will have another different trial, I guess, as it says. And the number of faux leaves earned for uncovering illustrations has been increased. So before it was 5, now it's 15, before 10, 25, so on and so forth. New items have been added. The completion status of Unreal Trials will now be saved, and then a few other things as well. Then we have the more specifics of which instruments have been added to the perform: violin, viola, cello, and double bass. I must see some string quartets out and about. Not me, but you do it. Not me. I'm actually looking forward to see if there is going to be any string quartets out there playing. Anyway, so we also have, in response with the new open tournament, we have new challenge log objectives been added. So come on in, it's open, participate in an open tournament, and receive your reward for 3,000 MGP. We also have new emotes added, and as you can see, this is the pink splattered paint that I mentioned, and I believe this will be, yes, you can see a paintbrush there. This is the blue one. We also have new idle stances that have been added for the change pose emote, and it looks like everybody here has their hands on their hips. And I can't tell if those are supposed to be any different or not. And if they are, I'm not seeing it. Anyway, so the battle system, we have a new dungeon, skipping over that. Duty sync changes for this. We have some more details of Castra Meridianum, including the extreme version, some information about the Naval Unreal. We also have some changes for the drop rate for the Ruby Gwyber Trumpet and Cinder Drift. I'm not going to go over that either. Then we have the new raid Dungeon Eden's Promise added and the information about that. And the Savage version of that as well. Not going to go over that either. Then we have the following adjustments made to the Puppets Bunker. So that is the first of the Noir raid series, if I recall correctly. I haven't actually done it myself. But anyway, the weekly restrictions on the rewards from coffers and from the Puppets coins themselves has been removed. So then we move to the Allagan Tomestones. So again, this is another thing that's important. The Allagan Tomestones of Revelation have been added. That's less important if you're not actually at level 80. Anyways, players can now obtain 450 Allagan Tomestones of Revelation per week and carry a maximum of 2,000 at one time. Anyway, so then it tells us where we can exchange them. Mentioning that, the weekly limitation on Allagan Tomestones of Allegory has been removed, and the Allagan Tomestones of Phantasmagoria are no longer obtainable. And keynote with that, the Allagan Tomestones of Goetia have been removed from the game, meaning as of patch 5.4, if you had any Goetia tomestones, they will be gone, which is why you can exchange those for Phantasmagoria ones. Please note that the Allagan Tomestones of Phantasmagoria obtained prior to patch 5.4 will not be lost. Will not. All trials and duties where Allagan Tomestones of Phantasmagoria could be obtained will now offer Allagan Tomestones of Allegory instead. So once you have your Goetia tomestones exchanged to Phantasmagoria ones, you'll be able to exchange your Phantasmagoria ones for Allegory ones. Anyway, so the duties listed within Duty Roulette experts have been changed as follows, blah blah blah. The following additions and adjustments have been changed to Duty Roulette level 80 dungeons, the trials, the alliance raids, and the normal raids, and the mentor have also changed, so the mentor now has all of these listed. And we also have the adjustments to the tomestones that we would receive from the different roulettes as well. And also the change for the number of tomestones we would receive from elite marks has been adjusted as well. And also from the deep dungeons. And the type of Allagan tomestones obtained from the dungeons of the Agaya has been changed from Allegory to Revelation. Also not unusual. Well, then we have new items. So we have these items added in patch 5.4 will be listed at a later date, which is per usual with these, not even just with the patch notes, or preliminary patch notes, but also with the patch notes themselves, that usually a few days, if not longer, up to less than a week later that these are added, just to give a time for people to kind of introduce themselves to it by themselves before kind of having that spoiler information released as well. So you're welcome. We also have new weapons added, and I have to say before I say that though, I really like this gear set. Of these, except for the mask. I'm not a fan of the mask. I do like this one too, and the bard, but not the helms. I don't like the helms. We also have new recipes added, and the recipes added in patch 5.4 will be listed at a later date. I also kind of like these ones too. I really like the weapons. These weapons look really cool. I think there's a better picture of this on the 5.4 special site as well. Then we have following items that can be equipped regardless of gender, so either male or female, you will now be able to equip these different pieces of gear. And I guess there was a change to the appearance of certain leg gear that has been adjusted, and following this change, certain leg gear, certain leg that was previously hidden can now be seen. I'm assuming I don't understand what that means. But anyway, so we also have a change of name. So the blue crafter script tokens are now called just that instead of Rowena's token, blue crafter script. I find that this is a much better name that it's changing to, and much easier to understand and remember. Anyways, we also have certain items that can be now sold as synthesized or supported by expert deliveries. Ring set. This is another change that I really like, this one here. Ring set could be purchased in exchange for Allagan Tomestones of Poetics, Allied Seals, and Centurio Seals are no longer classified as unique. I especially like this because now that you have, well, previously before when you could get the augmented and the normal version of like say Ironworks gear, you could have the augmented ring and then the regular ring. So you had that option of having at least a semi-decent ring right off the bat with just the regular one as well, but you couldn't have a second of the augmented one. You had to use a different augmented ring for that spot. Anyway, so now we're able to have both or two ring slots filled with the same ring of the Allagan Tomestones of Poetics rings, or allied seals and Centurio seals as well. So that's especially nice. So yay. And additionally, the augmented gear upgrade from those originally purchased with Allagan Tomestones will no longer require upgrade materials. Augmented gear can instead be purchased directly in exchange for their base gear and 100 Allagan Tomestones of Poetics. So it's basically skipping a step where you have to collect the extra materials to then upgrade, and instead it's the base gear plus 100 Allagan Tomestones of Poetics. So in accordance with this change, upgrade materials will no longer be designated as required items in their associated exchanges. Naturally. We also have a picture example of the elevation differences for the gathering points. So you can see here, if we were this, where this cursor is, we would have a mining spot lower, below wherever we are. And we also have a new fish warning message that we will see that the fish here have grown wise to your presence. You might have better luck in the new location. So when fishing, warning messages will now be displayed before fish are fully aware of your presence. Anyway, the following additions and adjustments have been made to the fishing log. The requirements for catching certain fish with special conditions have been added to the fishing log. The conditions for catching these fish have not changed. That's actually nice change as well. And then information for swimming shadows has been added to the fishing log. The fishing spots for these fish discovered prior to the release of patch 5.4 will be marked as undiscovered. Information for these entries in the fishing log, including all previously caught fish, will display again after fishing at these locations. The following additions and adjustments have been made to collectibles for botanists and miners, and you can see the new UI as well. I really like this new look. It makes it so much easier to see, and it looks a little more sophisticated, I would say, than the previous UI that looked a little aged, in my opinion. I didn't mind the old appearance, but I do think this is a better one, and it gives you a very clear idea of what you need to do for the collection. It also goes through the different things about the differences with the collector's wear, and it does in fact say that the collector's glove status is no longer required to gather items as collectibles. So I'm presuming that that means that the item button will also be removed. The requirement collectability rating for the second and third tier of custom delivery rewards for botanist and miner have been increased, and then it goes through the ethereal reductions as well. I'm not going to go over that. And then the following additions and adjustments have been made to Imperial Gathering Points. The number of Imperial Gathering Points in an area at the same level range has been increased from 1 to 3, and then the elemental crystals are guaranteed to appear at these gathering points with a chance for clusters of the same element to also appear. Then we have new minor botanist gathering points, new items have been added to gathering points, and new fishing holes have been added. The following additions and adjustments have been made to ocean fishing, new routes have been added, new bonuses have been added, and it explains what the missions are. Upon boarding the ship, players will receive 3 missions from the captain. To complete a mission, a player must catch the required number of designated fish, with bonus points being added to a player's score at the end of the voyage based on the number of missions completed. So here we have an example of the voyage missions: catch jellyfish or crabs, 1 out of 7, or catch fish rated 3 stars or higher, and that apparently whoever's fishing has 5 out of 5 of those. So has completed that mission. And then catch fish with a strong bite, that is the 2 exclamation points, and there's 2 out of 18 for that. Players who abandon ocean fishing prior to completion cannot embark on another voyage until registration reopens. However, players are not prohibited from registering for other duties. Meaning, so if you left early, you could still queue for something else, but just not ocean fishing. The requirement of bonuses received from catching 10 types of fish or more at a single destination will now be adjusted based on the number of participants. A party of 8 or more players requires 10 types of fish or more. A party of 7 players require 9 types of fish or more. And a party of 6 or fewer players requires 8 types of fish or more. In the event you do not experience a spectral current, whether at a fishing location, the chance of encountering a spectral current is increased at your next destination. That's kind of handy. In the event a spectral current does not appear at a destination, or a spectral current appears shortly before traveling to a new destination, the next spectral current to appear will have an increased duration. I actually really like this because I've actually experienced where we got a spectral current within the last minute of fishing, and we have to stop fishing about 30 seconds before we have to move to the next destination. So we had maybe enough time to catch 2 to 3 fish, depending on what the difficulty, if you will, were. So that kind of defeated the spectral current itself, which usually lasts at least 2 minutes if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, so that's actually really nice. And the number of fish caught using double hook when fishing for Silencer or Bartholomew the Chopper has been increased. That means absolutely nothing to me, other than the double hook, which I do know what it is. Anyways, it also explains when advanced materia melding, players can now use multiple materia in a single attempt, and it gives you the advanced option information down here. The 143 in your possession will be used in succession until advanced materia melding succeeds. And then it demonstrates what you will see in chat. You are unable to attach a Savage Aim Materia 7 to the Neo Ishgardian Leather Belt of Healing. 105 materia were lost in the process. Woe is you, whoever did that. And then you can see again 67 there as well. When accepting a commission for advanced materia melding in bulk, please note the melding fee is paid only once, regardless of the number of materia used in the process. And the level cap for desynthesized has been increased from 490 to 510. New mounts have been added. I have to say this looks pretty cool, especially with the background. And I'm not going to explain the background. The new Chocobo Barding has been added, and we can see it kind of looks like one of the things that are being added to this patch, and I'm not going to specify why. If you have the idea, you might know. And then we have new minions. And I say I want this one. This one actually looks cute too. I can't tell if it's a ship or this like dino flying thing, because those kind of look like wings and a long neck, you know. But whatever this is, I want this minion. It looks really, really cute. And then we also have fashion accessories. We can see the wings here. They look really pretty. And then we have 2 parasols. We were shown this one, I believe. I didn't actually notice the polka dots before. Not a huge fan of it because of the polka dots. But I like the detail of this one over here. It is quite nice. I see there's a cactar up there. So I'm guessing it's probably Gold Saucer related, maybe? Special actions used, or I guess it could be also Ishgardian Restoration, since that's what it looks like is behind here. Kind of. Anyway, special actions used by mounts are now categorized as battle effects, so if you wanted to turn those off, then you have that option to do so. Then we have system changes, so we have new achievements added, all of these related to new stuff. Then we have more details about Explorer mode, adding players to freely explore previously completed dungeons. As I mentioned before, it is only for the Shadowbringers dungeons, unfortunately, right now. They are going to add more in the future. You can see Explorer mode here, Sign Zago, minimum Willow Sync, Undersize, and during party in progress, not in that order, but the Explorer mode down at the bottom. And then it gives you the information of what this actually means. And Explorer mode, blah blah blah. While players must still adhere to the time limit of their selected duty, it is possible to enter solo or in a party up to the maximum number of players allowed for the duty. And we're allowed to use mounts, minions, fashion accessories. We're allowed to change jobs, excluding Disciple of Land and Disciple of Hand classes. Players are free to change to any Disciple of War Magic, regardless of level. This also includes limited jobs. And striking dummies are freely summonable and dismissible by clicking, placing, and then retrieving. And each member may summon a single striking dummy. Then the limit breaks. Each player... limit break is not available for limited jobs, which is not a surprise. And the options here as well. And then shortcuts, players can freely move between all available shortcuts in a duty. We also have some changes to Retainer Ventures, where the new Retainer Exploration Ventures levels have been added. There's also adjustments to the Quick Exploration. Duties that can be recorded have changed. We also have a better look of the classic color scheme that has been added. So this is the example, and then you can see it here. So if you want that classic Final Fantasy UI, then there you go. We also have, in preparation of the large-scale battle Delubrum Reginae Savage and the addition of 48 player alliances in patch 5.4, the following adjustments have been made. The appearance of the HUD in public areas after joining an alliance has been adjusted, and the display of the alliance lists will retain its original layout when undertaking duties. And the Ready Check and Record Ready Check windows will now display the number of people who responded and the total number of party members. When using the party to recruit for an alliance, it is now possible to set Omit as the role for all slots of an alliance party. The following options have been added to the Duty Finder settings menu. Level Sync only available when the undersized party option is enabled, and Explorer mode. So if you wanted undersized, you can either have this level synced that you'll synced to the whatever duty, or you're unsynced, which will be probably the default deselection of it. Anyways, and we also have changes to the roulette names. Rather than saying duty roulette this, duty roulette that, duty roulette this, they're all just called in a subheading duty roulette, which we'll see in just a second underneath the names of them. So, as we can see here, we have the Duty Roulette category, and they're just called Expert, Level 80, Dungeons, etc., etc. And then we have the button linked to the Community Finder. This is also in a dev blog that was posted a couple of days ago. We have this link up here, which will open the Community Finder on the Lodestone. We also have quest journal information can now be linked in the chat. We can see this button here. That's super easy, so that's like the easiest way to share it, and quest details will not be displayed for players who have no journal entry for the quest linked, meaning you will not be able to see it if it's a spoiler to you. And the following additions and adjustments have been made to a group pose when accessing the character display settings tab. The default position of the cursor when pressing cancel using a gamepad has been adjusted, and the minimum and maximum values for roll angle settings have been adjusted as follows. Before and now after. Huh. That's cool. New angles. Woohoo! And the following additions and adjustments have made to sticker mode. We can see here we have some new stickers. The Fat Cat, Cactors, I can't remember what those called, Moogles, and I can't remember what those are called either. But this looks really cute. And so new stickers have been added. Pressing scroll lock to hide the UI will no longer hide stickers. That's awesome. The default alignment of character name, date, time, area name, and duty name stickers can now be set under the Edit tab. When viewing stickers in the Edit tab, a confirmation prompt will now appear, so on and so forth. And then we have some keyboard and mouse controls that can be used to move stickers on the screen. Huh, that's kind of nice. And then the checkbox to disable active help windows has been removed from active help windows. So instead you'll have to go into the general tab of the UI settings in the character configuration menu to turn that off. I think this is actually a good idea so that you don't have new players accidentally turning it off and not realizing that they turned it off and then wondering, oh, what the heck am I supposed to do? Well, now you don't have that option. You will always see those help windows, and quite frankly, those help windows are actually helpful. And the search recipes using this item sub command can be executed via the following windows. I really like this change too. I was actually lamenting about it about a week ago when I was trying to figure out, now does this item actually have a crafting recipe? I don't have it, but do I want to have it? So we can see here in the item list of the gathering log window, and we actually have an example of this in the blog post that was posted a couple of days ago, which I mentioned earlier. I will have a link in the description below with that as well, along with this site too. And again, the special site as well for patch 5.4. Anyways, so the item list of the gathering log window, the materials list of the crafting log window, the item list on the market board, so on and so forth, these different things. We can also, when searching the search for item subcommand, a warning message will be displayed when results may not correctly reflect your current inventory. I noticed this with the sale items. I have to summon them and then dismiss them, and then I'll see an update for if they had any sales. You'll see the guild currency change as well. And as it says, because the subcommand search is based on the locally saved data, retainer inventory data may not be updated. In the event this log message is displayed, it is recommended to summon your retainer and refresh character data before trying again. We also have the Flying Mount Roulette action has been removed from the action and traits menu and mount guide. Flying mounts will now also be called at random using the Mount Roulette action. This actually makes sense since I don't think there is a single mount that does not fly now. And if this action is already registered to a hotbar or used in text commands, it will continue to function normally. We also have an option to scale higher resolution, and then we have again some other changes or other emotes and subcommands that can be this. So paint black, paint red, paint yellow, paint blue. And obviously tells me that there's also yellow, red, and black, and thus of course the pink one was in fact red. And then there's apparently a fake smile, so there's that too. And then there's adjustments and additions and adjustments made to the auto-translation dictionary. And then there's additions that have been made to PlayStation 4 Autocomplete Dictionary. And then there's new music and sound effects that have been added. No surprise there, considering we have a new dungeon and trials and raids coming. And then the sound effects played when initiating a countdown are now categorized as system sounds. So yeah, that is a lot of stuff. And did I mention I want this minion? I'm pretty sure I did, but if I didn't, I want this minion. Anyways, that is it, and I will have a link to this page itself, so that's the preliminary patch notes. I'll have a link to the special page for the patch 5.4 notes as well. And I will also have a link to that developer blog post that was posted a couple of days ago that kind of goes into a few details more of some of these things that are included in these preliminary patch notes. Anyways, that is a very long-winded explanation of the different preliminary patch notes that we have, and this is obviously not all of them, because it doesn't include any of the monk changes, which is probably not going to happen until it is patch day. Anyways, that is it for this one. If you found this helpful, please hit that like button. Please also consider subscribing if you'd like to see more content like this. That's it for this one. Thanks for watching.